Hi, friends. I'm Swapnil. I'm from Pune, India, and I am a businessman. I have a background in chemical engineering and business management. Friends, in this episode, I'm going to share a great experience from my life with you. After receiving my bachelor's degree, I began working at a full time job, yet I was not content at work. I strive to do things out of the ordinary, so I began thinking of starting my own business. However, at the time, I didn't have the financial resources needed to get my business off of the ground. After some perseverance and hard work, I finally was able to start my own business and things were going smoothly. As my business started to grow, though, my confidence began faltering. I was not able to develop strong relationships when I approached other businessmen and stakeholders. I was not able to build a proper network for my business. My conversation ratio was quite low. Meanwhile, I was watching my competitors grow their businesses exponentially. After my long initial struggle and hard work, I felt like I was experiencing failure instead of achieving success. I began drowning in negative thoughts and stress. At this time in my life, I met shreekalp. I narrated my experiences to him and asked for his thoughts and guidance. In response, he told me an important principle that I will never forget. I implemented this principle in my life, and slowly yet surely, I was able to get out of my miserable situation. I shed my negative thoughts and stress and found myself inching towards success with a newfound confidence. I realized how important this principle was for me, and in this video, Shri Kulp will share the principle with you as well. I believe that all of us can benefit from understanding this principle and implementing it in our own lives to overcome our hurdles. Thanks to Shri Kulp, I am now very confident and happy in my life. Thank you again, Shri Kulp.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our series. I hope you're all safe, healthy, and doing well in your lives. Today, we're going to learn about a principle that I think might be very beneficial to you. Let's get started. The principle is when we observe another, we should not be distanced from ourselves. In fact, we should come closer to ourselves. However, often when people observe others, they tend to become distanced from themselves. The more we learn about ourselves, the more beautiful life is. Try to understand this principle. When our friend Swapnil asked me a question and discussed his life with me, this principle really helped him. Similarly, it is possible that this principle will be beneficial to you and your life as well. That is why I want to share this principle in the form of a story so we can understand it more easily. When we observe another, we should not be distanced from ourselves. In fact, we should come closer to ourselves. Friends, when we observe the life of another person and witness their success or growth, we start to want the same. We try to emulate them and copy their habits or characteristics. But you see, copying others will not help revolutionize our own lives. And we need to revolutionize our lives in our own ways because we are all meant to be uniquely different. We all face different circumstances in our lives, and as such, we need different solutions to address them as well. Because you see, in life, every aspect has its own terminology and personal significance. Have you seen any two flowers that are perfectly identical? No, that will rarely happen in nature, if ever. There is so much diversity in this world. Flowers, fruits, fauna have similarities but are inherently so different. The same applies to humans. People might look similar on the outside, but we each have our own inherent story, our own path, and we cannot live our lives by copying anyone else. Friends, when Swapnil told me about his professional life and asked me for advice, I gave him the principle that I have presented today. When we observe another, we should not be distanced from ourselves. In fact, we should come closer to ourselves. What is the meaning of this? That we should not run away from our own inherent nature when we observe someone else? That we should not try to emulate others in search for results? How do we understand this? I'll explain it to you now. When we see someone else achieving something desirable, it is not wrong to want the same things. But it is important to understand a fundamental concept here. Your life cannot be the same as anyone else's. In this world, every individual is unique and is born to be different. If we were all the same, there would be too much redundancy and no need for all of us. So it's understandable for us to want success or growth the way we see someone else achieving it. But what we shouldn't do is hope for the same exact path or achievement as someone else. This school of thought isn't helpful at all. You are your own individual in this world. You are autonomous and independent. As such, your story should also be uniquely beautiful in its own way. So, I'm sure you're starting to pick up where I'm going with this. We talked about the first line of our principle that when we observe another, we should not be distanced from ourselves. In fact, we should come closer to ourselves. By this we meant we should not try to imitate someone else to become more like them. We should not be distanced from ourselves, but rather come closer to ourselves means we should stay true to our inherent unique nature. We should embrace our personal strengths, weaknesses, and even problems. As we accept our personal characteristics, we will smell the sweet fragrance of our own personal progress. Yes, it is important that we strive for progress. Every individual and creature strives for progress because that is the nature of life and survival. And in line with this nature, each person is right in wanting to be successful and progress forward. But friends, if you want to be someone or do something, do it in accordance with yourself, staying true to yourself. Do not try to be like someone else. You yourself have come into this world with your own story. You have expectations from your life and intentions to lead it in a certain way. Your life has produced its own questions, such that if you tend to them with strong efforts, hard work, diligence, and patience, they will bear beautiful and fruitful answers. That is why, when we observe another person and try to imitate them, we distance ourselves from our true essence. And when a person is distanced from themselves, their life becomes unknown to them and they develop anxiety. They live half their life according to their wishes and the other half in line with someone else's. Thus, their life becomes encumbered by tension and confusion as appearances and intentions do not match. Therefore, remember this, my friends. Running away from yourself is the first step towards failure. Our principle continues by stating, often when people observe others, they tend to become distanced from themselves. We must remember it is fruitless to imitate another and lose ourselves in the process. This will lead us towards failure in the personal and professional aspects of our life. Swapnil came to me with a similar experience, wanting to find success in his business like others, but facing repeated hurdles of failure. You see, If you keep focusing on imitating or comparing yourself to others, you will not be able to see what your own worth is. You heard that right. We are talking about your own worth. Each person is worth something in life, and as your worth increases, you find yourself getting closer to success. What I want to tell you is that once we get closer to ourselves, once you get to know yourself better, you will be able to understand what strengths and weaknesses you have. You will be able to better assess a situation and make fruitful decisions. But when will you be able to do these things? Only when you stop running from yourself after looking at someone else's progress. Only when you stop imitating someone's success. Everyone has weaknesses and strengths that are unique to that individual. If you divert your efforts towards your inner self, you will realize what your capabilities are and how to take them to the next level. If you take this principle to heart and further build upon strengths, then you will notice a great difference in the impact that you can have. That is why, my friends, I have said, when we observe another, we should not be distanced from ourselves. In fact, we should come closer to ourselves. Don't dwell too much on others or try to imitate how they talk or carry themselves. Instead, use it as an inspiration that someday, even I will take my life to the next level by focusing inwards and growing from within. Assess what skills you have that might be beneficial to others, what positive values you carry, and how you can utilize them to do something better. Try to evaluate your efforts to see how much success and failure you are getting. Sometimes we make efforts with good intentions only to face failures. But you should not run from these failures. Instead, you should try to understand why you failed. Do not blame others or make excuses when faced with failures. Own them. People who make excuses never grow. And that is why I am reiterating that you need to get to know yourself, your strengths, your difficulties, your questions, your doubts, and your fears. When you spend time focusing within, then gradually you will start finding answers and pave your own way to success. So, friends, now we have learned how to take life towards the path of progress and success. Next, through a story, we will understand the kind of changes that will manifest in our lives when we utilize our capabilities and strengths with authenticity.